Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English with Podcast. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Tony. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Today, we have a great topic for you. We're going to talk about weather.
Weather is something we all experience every day. It's a fun topic because it affects what we do, how we feel, and even what we wear.
Right. And learning weather vocabulary and expressions can help you talk about your day, understand the news, and make plans.
So, Nikki, what's your favorite type of weather?
Oh, I love sunny weather. I feel happy when the sun is shining. I like to go to the park, have a picnic, or just take a walk. How about you, Tony?
I prefer rainy weather. I know, it sounds strange, but I like the sound of the rain. It's relaxing. And I enjoy reading a book or watching a movie when it's raining.
That's interesting. Rain can be cozy, but sometimes too much rain can be a problem. I remember one time I was on holiday and it rained for 3 days straight. I was stuck inside my hotel.
I had a similar experience. I was in a small town, and it started snowing. It was beautiful at first, but then the snow kept coming, and I couldn't leave the house for 2 days.
Wow, that sounds intense. Snow can be beautiful, but too much snow can be difficult. We have lots of different weather experiences.
Yes, and today we will share some of those experiences. We'll also talk to some guests who will tell us their weather story.
That's right. Our guests will share how different weather affects their lives, and we'll ask them some questions too.
So, let's get started. It's time to meet our first guest. Let's give a warm welcome to Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Nikki and Tony. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
It's great to have you here. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Julie, and I'm from Canada. I'm a teacher, and I love hiking and photography.
Nice to meet you, Julie. So, today we're talking about weather. Do you have a weather story to share with us?
Yes, I do. This story is from last winter. In Canada, winters can be very cold and snowy.
I can imagine. What happened last winter?
Well, one day there was a big snowstorm. It was snowing all day and all night. By the next morning, the snow was almost up to my waist.
Wow, that's a lot of snow. What did you do?
I had to shovel the snow from my driveway. It took me hours. After that, I decided to take a walk and take some pictures because the snow looked beautiful.
That sounds nice. Did you have any problems because of the snow?
Yes, the roads were very slippery and driving was dangerous. Also, it was very cold, so I had to wear many layers of clothes to stay warm.
How cold was it?
It was about minus 20 degrees Celsius. Very, very cold.
That's freezing. Did you see any interesting things during your walk?
Yes, I saw some children building a snowman and having a snowball fight. It looked like they were having so much fun.
That sounds like a classic winter scene. Did you join them?
No, I just took pictures. I didn't want to get hit by a snowball.
Smart choice. It sounds like you made the best of the snowy day.
Yes, it's important to stay positive, even in difficult weather. Do you have any tips for our listeners on how to enjoy snowy weather?
Sure. Dress warmly with lots of layers. Also, try to do fun activities like building a snowman, sledding, or taking photos. And be careful on the road.
Great tips, Julie. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you, Julie. It was great to hear about your snowy adventure.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
We just heard a great story from Julie about her snowy adventure in Canada.
Yes, that was quite a story. I can't imagine having snow up to my waist. Julie made the best of it, though, by taking beautiful pictures and enjoying the scenery.
And her tips were very useful. Dressing in layers and finding fun activities can really help you enjoy snowy weather.
Absolutely. Now, let's move on to our next guest. We have Mike with us today. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Nikki and Tony. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, Mike. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Mike, and I'm from Australia. I work as a lifeguard and I love surfing and spending time at the beach.
Nice to meet you, Mike. So, what's your weather story?
My story is about a very hot day last summer. In Australia, summers can be extremely hot, sometimes over 40 degrees Celsius.
That's really hot. What happened on that day?
It was a typical summer day and I was working at the beach. Around noon, the temperature reached 45 degrees Celsius. It was the hottest day of the year.
That sounds intense. How did you handle the heat?
We had to be very careful. We made sure to drink a lot of water and stay in the shade as much as possible. We also reminded beachgoers to use sunscreen and stay hydrated.
Good advice. Did you see any interesting things happening because of the heat?
Yes, a lot of people came to the beach to cool off in the water. It was very crowded and we had to keep an eye on everyone to make sure they were safe.
That must have been a busy day for you. Did anything unusual happen?
Yes, actually. In the afternoon, we saw a group of dolphins swimming close to the shore. It was amazing to see them so close.
That sounds wonderful. Dolphins are such beautiful creatures. Did the beachgoers enjoy seeing them too?
Yes, everyone was very excited. People were taking pictures and watching the dolphins play in the water.
What a special moment. It must have made the hot day a bit more enjoyable.
It did. Even though it was very hot, seeing the dolphins made everyone happy and brought some excitement to the day.
That's great to hear. Do you have any tips for dealing with very hot weather?
Definitely. Stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, wear light clothing, and use sunscreen. Also, try to stay in the shade during the hottest part of the day.
Excellent tips, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you, Mike. It was great to hear about your experience and those amazing dolphins.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
We just heard a fantastic story from Mike about a super hot day in Australia and a surprise visit from dolphins.
That was such a cool story. Dolphins always make things better. Now, let's move on to our next guest. Please welcome Maria. Hi, Maria.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here, Maria. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Maria, and I'm from Spain. I work as a tour guide, and I love traveling and learning about different cultures.
Nice to meet you, Maria. So, what's your weather story?
My story is about a time I experienced a big thunderstorm while giving a tour in Madrid. It was last autumn, and the weather was very unpredictable.
Oh, thunderstorms can be scary. What happened?
Well, I was leading a group of tourists around the city. The day started sunny, but in the afternoon, dark clouds started to gather. Suddenly, it began to rain heavily, and there was thunder and lightning.
That sounds intense. How did you manage the situation?
I had to think quickly. I took the group to a nearby cafe to stay dry. We waited there for the storm to pass. The tourists were a bit scared, but I tried to keep them calm and entertained.
That was a smart move. Did you do anything special to keep them entertained?
Yes, I started telling them stories about Madrid and its history. I also taught them some Spanish words and phrases. It turned into an impromptu language lesson.
That's great. You turned a difficult situation into a fun and educational experience.
Yes, the tourists appreciated it. We stayed in the cafe for about an hour until the storm passed. When we came out, the rain had stopped, and there was a beautiful rainbow.
A rainbow. That's a perfect ending to a stormy day. Did you take pictures?
Yes, we all took pictures of the rainbow. It was a memorable experience for everyone.
That sounds wonderful, Maria. It's amazing how you handled the situation so well.
Do you have any tips for dealing with thunderstorms, especially when you're outside?
Sure. Always check the weather forecast before going out. If a storm comes, find shelter quickly. Stay away from trees and tall objects because lightning can strike them. And keep calm. Storms usually pass quickly.
Excellent advice, Maria. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you, Maria. It was great to hear about your experience and how you turned it into something positive.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
We've heard some amazing weather stories so far. Now, let's meet our final guest. Please welcome Ahmed. Hi, Ahmed.
Hi, Nikki and Tony. Thank you for inviting me.
It's great to have you here, Ahmed. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Ahmed, and I'm from Egypt. I'm a software engineer, and I enjoy playing soccer and cooking in my free time.
Nice to meet you, Ahmed. So, what's your weather story?
My story is about a very windy day in Cairo last spring. It was a sandstorm which we call a kamz.
A sandstorm? That sounds serious. What happened?
Yes, it was quite serious. I was at work when the sky turned orange and the wind started blowing very hard. Sand and dust were everywhere.
That sounds intense. What did you do?
My colleagues and I had to stay inside the office. It was too dangerous to go outside because of the strong winds and flying sand. We closed all the windows and doors to keep the sand out.
That sounds like a smart move. How long did the sandstorm last?
It lasted for about 3 hours. During that time, we tried to continue working, but it was difficult because the wind was very loud and the visibility was very low.
I can imagine. Did you have any special precautions for dealing with the sandstorm?
Yes, we made sure to stay inside and avoid breathing in the dust. We used masks to cover our faces and drank a lot of water to stay hydrated.
That's good advice. Did the sandstorm cause any damage?
Yes, it did. Some trees were uprooted, and there was a lot of sand on the roads, which made driving difficult. But thankfully, there were no serious injuries.
That's a relief. How did you feel after the sandstorm was over?
We were all very relieved when it was over. The sky cleared up, and we went outside to see the damage. We had to clean up the sand from our cars and homes, but we were happy that it was safe to go out again.
That must have been a big relief. Did you do anything special after the storm?
Yes, we all decided to go out for dinner to relax and talk about the experience. It was nice to spend time together and unwind after such a stressful day.
That sounds like a great way to end the day. Do you have any tips for our listeners on how to handle a sandstorm?
Absolutely. If you know a sandstorm is coming, try to stay indoors. Close all windows and doors to keep the sand out. If you have to go outside, wear a mask or cover your nose and mouth with a cloth. Drink plenty of water and stay calm until the storm passes.
Excellent tips, Ahmed. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you, Ahmed. It was really interesting to hear about your experience with the sandstorm.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
We've had a great time today talking about different weather experience.
Yes, we heard from Julie about her snowy adventure in Canada, Mike about the hot day in Australia with dolphins, Maria about the thunderstorm in Spain, and Ahmed about the sandstorm in Egypt.
It's amazing how weather can be so different around the world. Now, let's talk about some weather-related vocabulary we've learned today. We have 8 words to discuss.
Great idea, Tony. Let's start with the first word, shovel.
Shovel is a tool used for digging, lifting, and moving materials like snow. Julie used a shovel to clear the snow from her driveway.
The second word is slippery.
Slippery means difficult to walk or stand on because it's smooth, wet, or icy. Julie mentioned the roads were very slippery after the snowstorm.
Next, we have hydrated.
To stay hydrated means to drink enough water. Mike talked about the importance of staying hydrated on a very hot day.
The fourth word is layered.
Layers are pieces of clothing worn on top of each other. Julie advised wearing layers to stay warm in the snow.
Our fifth word is sunscreen.
Sunscreen is a lotion or cream that protects your skin from the sun. Mike reminded beachgoers to use sunscreen on hot, sunny days.
Next is visibility.
Visibility refers to how far you can see. During the sandstorm, Ahmed mentioned that visibility was very low because of the blowing sand.
The seventh word is unpredictable.
Unpredictable means something that is not able to be predicted or expected. Maria said the weather in Madrid was very unpredictable that autumn.
Our final word is shelter.
Shelter is a place that provides protection from the weather. During the thunderstorm, Maria took her tour group to a cafe for shelter.
These words are very useful when talking about the weather. Let's use them in some example sentences to help our listeners understand better.
Sure. After the snowstorm, Julie used a shovel to clear her driveway.
The roads were slippery, so Julie had to be very careful.
On hot days, it's important to drink water and stay hydrated.
Wearing several layers of clothing can help you stay warm in cold weather.
Don't forget to apply sunscreen when you go to the beach.
During the sandstorm, visibility was very low because of the sand in the air.
The weather in autumn can be very unpredictable.
Finding shelter during a storm is very important to stay safe.
We hope these examples help you understand and remember these words.
Yes, and remember, practicing these words will make it easier to talk about the weather in English.
That's all for today's episode. Thank you for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed our weather stories and learned something new.
Don't forget to subscribe to Learn English with Podcast for more fun and educational episodes.
Until next time, stay safe and enjoy the weather, whatever it may be.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.